Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today at the Races, Saturday, December 2nd. I'm Keith Fustel with Equibase. Going to host this morning. Dan Oman here from the Daily Racing Form. Lucky to have Dan in town. Going to go through this card. If you like two-year-old racing, you're in store for a treat today. We've got 5 two-year-old races today. 2 stakes are features, the Maryland Juvenile and the Maryland Juvenile Fillies. They're both contested at 7/8 of a mile, aren't they, Dan? I believe.
It's true.
Yes, and really good card. We went through it earlier. I was talking to Dan. We're not hitting on a lot of the same winners, but hey, it's good to have you here.
I really appreciate being back as always. It's our Winter Stakes Carnival. You mentioned the 2 stakes races, 200 granders for the Maryland bred or sire 2-year-olds. This card has a lot of character. You've got the 2-year-old races. You've got a stakes class allowance on this card, and then you've got the old wide open nickel with a big full field where chaos could reign.
That's race 6 today. I think we've got 3 9-year-olds in that race. The crafty veterans, maybe they will prevail there in race 6, which kicks off that late pick 4. But let's get right into the action here in race number 1. There's your track, a little fog. I'm going to try to get that to dissipate, get on out of here. But comfortable conditions, 51 degrees. I think we're going to head close to 60 today, if I saw that correctly. Main track fast. Been playing a little bit favorable to the inside, Dan, at some speed.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Okay.
Inside speed the last couple of days. Of course, it's a new day, but something to keep an eye on, especially with the late pick 5, 12% low takeout. So what you want to do in this situation is watch the first couple of races, see if that inside speed bias is continuing, and then hopefully take advantage later in the card.
Yeah, you won't get that opportunity yet with the early pick 5 with this great low takeout. But hey, we move forward. Race 1, 2-year-olds get you started. Maiden claiming variety. This is 12.5 down to 10,000 going around a ground. We're going 2 turns at a mile and a 16th. We can go right to your top selection. We've got video for the 5, Return Fire. 4 horses come out of this race on the 11th of November.
This was Return Fire's first start around 2 turns and first start dropping down to the 12.5 level, and he ran quite well. I didn't think horses on the lead necessarily did great in this race. He prompted a 9-1 shot early that ended up finishing last. He ends up, as you can see, very game down towards the inside. He beat 3 of these horses, as you mentioned. It was a good, solid performance for Return Fire, a horse that has tactical speed and can get close to the pace for Rudy Sanchez-Salomon.
Yeah, that was a crazy little finish there. Painter's Prodigy. The first are all over the map. Got it done just up at the wire. I lean a little bit towards Sugarhoof. You have this one in the mix. I just thought this guy's been a little bit difficult, a lot difficult to settle in his races. Encountered trouble 2 back, even more last time out. Maybe there's an equipment change. They tweak something. I do like the fact that Toledo stays beaten favorite last time. You might get a little bit more value today.
I think the key to this race is the first 4 or 5 jumps. I think this time around they got to be aggressive with this horse. This horse is a freewheeling type. They have been trying to rate him. It hasn't worked out. There is not a lot of pace in this race. Volpe has speed. Return Fire has speed. I think if Sugarhoof wants to go, he can make the lead, make the rail, and maybe this track carries him.
Yeah, I agree there. He just was very uncomfortable going into that first turn in behind some horses. He really fought the rider. He never really got settled. Maybe it's about the far turn, and then he got in a little pickle in between horses at the 5/16 steady. How about Volpe? Held pretty well to deep stretch. 5-7-3-4 for Dan to get you started. I'm going to lean on the Sugarhoof. This might be now or never for him. He's been a little bit frustrating for me. Chased him as the favorite. We'll see if we get a little bit better value today and he gets a clean trip. Let's turn to race 2. It's going to kick off a little bit of an earlier pick 3 play for me. My pick 4 ticket was just going to be a little too costly. Thought these races were pretty contentious. I start you out with 4 horses in race number 2 with the 1, 3, 5, and 7. Police Woman going to be your price in there with the apprentice Darwin Rodriguez. Race 3, 4 deep as well. 1, 3, 5, 6. Wrap it up in race 4 with the 2 and the 4 Swifty Devil. Perfect day. I like this shipper coming in for service. $16 ticket also kicks off the early pick 4. Do not forget about that. These are the fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 2 going 6 furlongs. Dan, you kind of hedge towards the outside. Am I correct?
Yeah, Ratified.
With Ratified.
Ratified, to me, I thought had a little sneaky trouble in his last dirt race 2 starts back. Several horses in this race are going turf to dirt for connections that do well going turf to dirt. Jamie Ness, 4 for his last 8, $2.45 ROI going turf to dirt. The last time this horse raced on the main track, he was sort of at the back, and then he got forced outward on the turn as he was commencing his run. He then dropped inside, and he made up some late ground to finish 4th. My issue with Ratified is he doesn't have a lot of early speed. He draws outside, and if the rail is good, he could be in a little bit of trouble. He needs some pace. I'm hoping he gets it.
I think she's going to get it with Kill Britain's Red, no doubt about it, off the 4.5, I believe, at Charleston, and the 4. Meet Me at the Beach. These two definitely are going to supply some flow. Policewoman.
I love your pick.
I'm just taking a little stab here, but I think she's got sneaky improved form. Was asked to do way too much on Maryland Million Day against that field, and actually showed a little bit of late life on the turf. A couple of races back, you go 4 back, not terribly beaten by Poji Bonsi. I'll take my shot there that things heat up. She can rally over the top for a trainer. Hasn't run a lot of horses, but has won a few races, so I'll take a look there. I think Devil Pays in Gold, would you say maybe she's the horse to beat just on her last 2 efforts, turf and dirt? I thought last time she had every right to win, just couldn't quite sustain.
Equaled or exceeded the Beyer par for this level in her last 2 on dirt, so I agree completely with you that she's the horse to beat. Plus, she has the tactical speed. Our top picks need some pace help up front. They're more closing types. Devil Pays in Gold, though, has been facing some good competition. The runner-up from the last race came back to run 2nd for 32 with a 68 Beyer speed figure. Alexander Crispin takes them out on Devil Pays in Gold. I'm expecting a lot more early ability, and she could track the leaders while just in behind.
I like the little outside-inside move. We'll get a stat on the 5. We've both got this one in the mix, right? 5,2. I'll let you go with this.
Hey, another one of those turf to dirt moves, and Jose Corrales excels. 9 for the last 34, 26% winners, $4.96 ROI going turf to dirt. 5,2 herself has gone turf to dirt twice, has hit the board twice, both at double-digit prices. It's what she likes to do. She's a little bit of a horse that nibbles. Only 1 for 20 lifetime, but maybe if you want a horse to maybe spice up your exotics, it's 5,2 with a late kick.
Agreed. I think she's going to offer a little bit. Interesting the fact that when she's made that move turf to dirt, she showed a little bit more speed. She's been into those races. Will that happen again this afternoon? Let's go ahead and turn to race number 3, maiden special weight. These are the 2-year-old fillies going around the ground, going 1 turn mile here. We both land on the 1, Princess
Blame, stretching out, and I think distance is going to be her friend. Of course, she's by Breeders' Cup Classic winner Blame. The dam won 3 route races. Martina Rojas has done really well with horses on the lead. She seems to be able to get them to relax, and they finish strong. And I think Princess Blame, stretching out to the 1 turn mile from the inside post, is going to show speed. She kind of got bumped at the start last time. I never got a breather. Had 2 horses hitched onto her outside, and she ended up finishing 3rd behind a pretty decent field. I think Princess Blame's going to get to the front in here. Old Bay, the 3's the horse to beat.
Yeah, I'll let you talk about Old Bay. I just thought last time, in the maiden into the winners there in the Maryland Million last, he might have been a little bit of reach. Took plenty of play, and keys up against the right kind of Delaware. I thought her breeding suggested, you'll have the notes on that the route of ground is well within her skill.
Well, she's a half-sister to Balmer Hun, who won a stakes race going 9 furlongs. I think it was the old Brandy on turf. So Old Bay is obviously bred to get this distance, draws outside the other speed, stretching out with the speed to stay close. She'll be in the thick of things when they turn into this long stretch. And Old Bay's race 2 starts back at Delaware over a wet track. Was a good performance in one of those kind of little low-level restricted allowance / stakes races. So again, she's the horse to beat in here. We'll see if Princess Blame improves, getting to the lead and getting out in distance.
Did you want to touch upon the firster for Brittany Russell? 6-5 on the morning line. I think she's a first full out of a city, well, by City of Light, out of a Bernardini mare.
Horse was a $140,000 buyback as a yearling by City of Light. The dam was a 2-year-old stakes place dirt miler. Distance isn't going to be an issue. City of Light was a quality miler back in his day. I'm never right with Brittany's first-time stars, which means I'm wrong a lot when she wins. This horse has been in training since the summer, just working steadily. Should have plenty of bottom to go the mile. I don't want to take 6-5 on a first-time starter going a mile, realizing she could easily win.
I agree with you there. I mean, it's just not going to bring the value. And that long line of horse, I don't know. Is she going to come out guns a-blazing? Usually those horses don't. They're usually horses that come from the back of the pack. The 6 normal for motion, I'll touch upon real quick. By Nyquist, 17% with the dirt routers. Tried the turf in debut here in October. The mare bottom side, maybe dirt is the option here. Lone Win was on the dirt and did top at 88 buyer figure.
That is a very good point, because if you go back in this family, it's all turf and synthetic. I think Pico Tenerife is the second dam, but this dam could step on dirt. She is by Nyquist. The dam has foaled 2 dirt runners. One of them ran on dirt, but ran in a graded stakes race and had no chance. The other one was able to win on it. Ram Motion knows what he's doing, and I have a feeling he's not just taking a shot on dirt with normal. I think he likes getting her out in distance.
You got it. And looking at this, and we've talked about this stat in the past, the last couple of years with motion. 7 for 27, 26% with the dirt runners making their second career start. That's pretty good. Nothing to sneeze out there for Graham Motion. 1-3-4-2 for Dan in race number 3. Let's turn to the 4th. We do have a scratch in the 4th race, going 5.5 of 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 3, or the 3-year-olds. That's the one part of the entry. Roan Burgundy has been scratched. I thought this was a tricky little race. You land on the 6th, Victim of the Night.
I generally loathe playing horses that can't get out of the gate. Victim of the Night is often slow from the gate, and in a race that might not have a ton of pace, it could work against her. But it's worth noting that when Barbosa had the mount on Victim of the Night 2 starts back, right here at Laurel Park, she didn't break great. She overcame it. She scored with a 73 buyer speed figure. She's 2 for 2 at Laurel. If she can just break a little bit better and settle into mid-pack, I'm expecting her to make a run. From a figure standpoint, from a class standpoint, she fits, but boy, I am praying the break.
Your second selection in here, the 2, Swifty Devil, going to be part of that flow. Are you liking that inside draw mainly? But she's shown to take a little heat and stay the trip.
Yeah, she's the kind of horse that at least we know is going to break well and get close to the pace. She finished ahead of Victim of the Nile last time out, and she did so despite being hung out 4 wide every step of the way in a quality race. The 3rd horse coming back to run second in a first-level allowance with a 79 buyer. Swifty Devil fits here. Another horse doesn't really like to win very much, may not have the upside of my top pick, but a horse is going to be in the thick of things when they turn for home.
And you look at that at the distance. She hasn't won at it, but she is 4 for 4 in the money. I like the 4 a lot in here. Second off of a break. You look back on it, it has a long break there from February 22 to April of 23. It's had some races since, some pretty good races over the summer. Kind of lately, though, in, out, in, out. I might think this one is sitting on a good race. Trainer JT Service comes to town. This horse, 2 back, very good against a much tougher group, a 2 other than allowance, Dan. He is 6 for 28, 21%, and 17 for 28 in the money with this little layoff, second off of this little layoff. It works. And to alleviate a little my concern on the drop, he's been 21% with a 438 ROI over that period with these kind of droppers. I like this horse. Horse got sneaky trouble last time. They didn't catch it up there. Bounced around in the 2 or 3 times in the first 16th of a mile, took the rating angled out and churned on. This horse has positional speed, and like Swifty Devil, can go up and dog you a long, long way. I kind of like Perfect Day. We'll talk about later in the day. I'll give you an early best bet. This is my shot here at an okay price. Anybody else you want to touch upon in race 4?
We could talk about several in here. Boss Man JJ, the 5's moving turf to dirt. It's interesting. 0 for 12 on turf. Maybe dirt is what Boss Man JJ likes. And Boss Man JJ, the last time raced on dirt, way back over the summer, it was an off-the-turf race. I thought that day was intensely speed favoring. Boss Man JJ didn't break that day, had to come from out of it. He has a little bit more speed. To me, he's got some value. I like what you said about Perfect Day. They've always liked this horse. They ran him in the Miracle Wood early in his career. They ran him at Saratoga. He gets class relief.
I see that 2-back race against Runaway Jack. I saw him win at Delaware, the 95. He was lights out. Interesting cloud music is the part of the entry for Nest that stays in, going to be part of that flow. Will that draw on the inability maybe to clear? If he doesn't clear, is he really at a disadvantage? I think he is, the way this track's been playing.
I think he's fast enough to make the lead, and I think J-Rod's going to try to hustle him out of there and maybe get as close to the rail as possible. I think he's completely dirtied up and fits with these horses. Last time out, way overmatched against the likes of Super Accelerate. Don't think he cared for the mud 2-back.
Okay, let's go to the 5th here.
Oh, what a race.
Kicks off the late pick 5. Don't miss out on race number 5. Couple scratches here. The 3 Grateful Bread and the 5 Spun and 1 for this 3 other than optional. This is a really good race. Just like you say, a little bit of a mini stake here in the middle of the card. Let's go right to your top selection. He's My Honey Badger, a video from October the 12th at Aqueduct.
In for the 62.5 claiming option at Aqueduct, and He's My Honey Badger has been close to this solid pace throughout. Andiamo Aferenze, who made the lead, is going to end up running last. He's My Honey Badger is going to make an early move to take the lead turning into the stretch, and he's going to hang on gamely for second, and the horse that ends up running him down, Bold Journey, well, he flatters the performance because Bold Journey comes back, wins the Grade 3 fall high weight with a 96 Beyer speed figure. He's My Honey Badger was claimed out of this race by David Jacobson, who's 4 for his last 17, 24%, $4.02 ROI. First off the claim on the dirt, and I think He's My Honey Badger has a little bit more positional speed, and in the short field can sort of set up shop outside.
No doubt, and it looks like he's going to kind of be breathing heavily on. Maybe he'll clear. We saw that horse Quick Money clear yesterday, but Johnny Z from Albany, very good form. Last race, solid on a muddy sealed surface, but he is the speed down inside.
And he's a quality horse in his own right. He is one of 2 Maryland Million winners in this field. You've got 4 prior stakes winners, and Johnny Z from Albany ran just fine last time out. He made the lead. That's a nice horse that ran him down. Factor it in. Yeah. Johnny Z from Albany's only a 3-year-old. Factor it in. Has been around for a long time. This time around, again, you're getting Martino Rojas on a speed horse. Johnny Z from Albany might be loose and lonely turning for home.
We talked about my top selection upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
Karen's Notion, a big fan of this horse, is 6-year-old. Nancy Hall, obviously definitely rooting for kind of, the outfit just doesn't have a lot of horses, but this is a quality horse, Karen's Notion. I thought his return was very good. Sneaky speed inside, drop back, came again, that little Z pattern to close in. I think he's going to be perched right off the speeds, a little bit sharper today. I can see him just setting up shop 2 or 3 out of it mid-turn and running the speed down.
I bet him last time out. You mentioned the race. I thought he ran really well considering it was his first start off of a lengthy layoff. I'm expecting him to show more tactical speed in here. And remember, this guy has quality. He won the Maryland Million Sprint in 2020. And I'm telling you, he has some very sneaky lines on his page. Absolutely. He can win this race, and he always offers value.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. That's 5. We're going to go to a commercial break, come back for the late pick 4.
Thoroughbred Racing is taking vital steps to make our sports safer. These include the use of independent veterinarians, strict anti-doping and medication controls, and a single national authority empowered to create uniform standards and enforce reforms. With each step, more data is gathered, accountability demanded, and progress made as safety takes the lead. Visit ntra.com/safety for more.
We're absolutely blessed to have the ability to work with animals for our day-to-day job, but the blessing means that we also have a big responsibility, and that responsibility is that when a horse has finished its racing career, to make sure that we give it every opportunity to have a second career.
Horses on the racetrack, they typically race from 2 to 3 years old up to 6 to 8 years old, and they have a long career in life after that. Thoroughbred aftercare is taking care of horses after their life on the racetrack.
Making sure that we are being good stewards of the animal. We have a generation coming up that's more aware of our world, of our climate, of our animals that we use, everything that's really given us humanity and integrity about who we are and what we're doing on this planet.
There are the actual aftercares themselves, and they are farms that will rehome and rehouse the animals when they come off the track. And then there are other organizations such as the TAA, which is the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance, that actually accredits the aftercares to make sure they are doing exactly what we want them to do.
We focus on organizations that can rehabilitate, retrain, retire, rehome new horses, and find a new purpose for them for after their racing and breeding.
Any animal that's willing to let you ride it or use it for work, we owe that animal everything we can do to make sure that trust is repaid.
All right, we are back to take a look at this late pick 4 on this Saturday card. Stakes today, getting close to them, race 7 and race 8 for the 2-year-olds in Maryland Juvenile and the Maryland Juvenile Filly. But race 6 kicks off the late pick 4, Dan. Jackpot Super High 5 in race 6. We got a little carryover for you, 2,566. So dive right on into that. Scratch the alternates, the 11 to the 12. These are the nickel claimers, condition claimers going a mile and 16th. And you had mentioned you thought this race could be the best betting opportunity on today's card.
Well, as you can see, we're all over the place, and why not? Every horse in this race just about has a chance. We've got several old warriors, as you mentioned in the early part, and I think Transfer the Funds, the number 8, is really in career form right now for Daniel McKenzie. Last 3 dirt figures speak for themselves. 69, 67, 67, right there with the Beyer par for this level. McKenzie 4 for the last 14, 29%. Of course, the ROI skewed by Transfer the Funds' big win 2 starts back. Transfer the Funds, though, is a horse that's tactical. He can make the lead. He can sit from off of the pace. I just think from a form standpoint, from a figure standpoint, he fits. I don't like his morning line 3-1. I want more in a race like this. Am I greedy?
Yeah,
you got to be greedy.
I think in this race, you've got to take pretty much for 9-2. Demand that if you're going to step in and bet flat on a horse in here. But you talk about, is it a horse you can trust? Maybe, because the recent figures, they're steady enough ability to sit back off of things if this flow heats up as well, because there is going to be some speed in here. I believe the one My Boy Colton will go from the inside. A horse like Caribbean, possibly. Money in the Banksy and Patriotic Party for sure. But let's touch upon this 9 you've got as well. Money in the Banksy for Christy Claggett off the break.
Money in the Banksy's going to shed 13 pounds with the 10-pound apprentice rider aboard. You mentioned the speed. I think they have to send this veteran 9-year-old, and this is the first start off the Christine Claggett claim. This horse has not run in 328 days. Christine Claggett off 6-month layoffs or more, 2 for the last 9, 5 on the board. Winners paid 14-1, 6-1. They run well fresh. This horse was facing better competition before the layoff. The winner, Welling, of his last race came back to run 4 times, 2 wins, 2/3, 82 Beyer top. If Money in the Banksy gets to the lead in here and gets a breather, I think this horse is going to stay on for a long time.
Obviously, these connections are familiar with this guy. Started his career at the age of 6. Patience. They know how to get this horse to run well off the break. 9 years old now. My top selection is a 9-year-old. Caribbean. I'll let Rodman discuss that one. But the key was back to Lacey Gaudet. This was a horse that she had success with. I look back, late 2021, early 2022, a couple wins there. Had its best form and some really good runs with her. Her barn's doing very well right now. A good win yesterday with Beneath the Stars. Take the shot here. I think this one can adjust to the pace.
Absolutely. You mentioned Lacey reclaiming this horse. Lacey's been in great form lately with her horses, and I like that you're going to get a late workout change. Looks like Lacey blew this horse out yesterday. A little old school.
Okay,
I like
that. I have no problem with that. I throw Super Catch into the mix. Is he done? I don't know. He's another 9-year-old. First-time Ness. Off the claim, waited the 30 days, the perfect timing. Now drops, gets the conditions. These guys play this well. He's 7 for 15, 47%, 12 for 15 to the money. First after the claim and back in for the nickel is Jamie Ness.
You could depend on Super Catch, a 17-time winner. And you want to talk about a live race? His most recent start, an $8,000 claimer. 5 next out winners already have come out of that race, a super live race, and you're getting Ness and Rodriguez. Super Catch, very logical.
You touch upon Patriotic Party and Battalion. What are your thoughts on these two?
I think Patriotic Party is going to really appreciate this race flow. I think he's got a good amount of speed. Money in the Banksy's going to go. Patriotic Party's likely just going to follow him out of there and set up shop on the outside. He has plenty of back races that indicate he can win this race. It was interesting that Caramanos kind of had his choice in this race between Patriotic Party and a big priced horse, Bad Guy. Jumps off to Bad Guy. Barbosa's not a bad replacement.
No, not whatsoever. Battalion, interesting, going turf to dirt. Formal Order is a horse I chased last time at a big number at 20-1. First off the claim. I respect the outfit. Billy Campbell, not a lot of horses anymore, but done quality work. X-Man stays, turf to dirt angle. If things heat up, I do think this guy can make a run from the back of the pack and make an impact.
Never been this cheap. 2 starts back. What chance did he have? The winner of that race came back to win 2 more with buyers of 79 and 76. He's a closer. I think Bad Guy's going to close from the back of the pack. I won't be surprised if this is one of those wild finishes. Good luck, Rodman.
You got it. Dave will handle it. I'm sure he is the pro.
He's the best.
Let's go to the 7th, starting our stakes action here. The Maryland Juvenile Fillies. The 2-year-olds going 7/8 of a mile. A good little race here, a little rematch it looks like. Kissed by an Angel. Sheila's War Cloud, they faced each other in the Maryland Million last year, but Kissed by an Angel's been a little bit busier since then.
Certainly has been, and has certainly been doing very, very well for Joanne Shankle. Here's Kissed by an Angel's most recent start, stretching out to the one-turn mile, in for the 62.5 claiming option, up on the pace throughout, pressing it 3 wide, and in this race just keeps grinding and always finding a little bit more and is getting away from the field at the wire. I like horses generally cutting back to 7 furlongs, especially if they have positional speed in a race without a ton of pace. I think Kissed by an Angel is in very good form. She's the only 2-time winner in this field, and I think there's a good chance she's either going to be on the lead or sitting just off once again.
He comes back sharp, a little blowout there, 34 and change to the 3/8, so she's on her game. Do you give her that edge based on recency over Sheila's War Cloud? And we talked about the track on Maryland Million Day as well. Sheila's War Cloud had that race to win.
Sheila's War Cloud loomed in that race. The first time starter that beat her was live. Sheila's War Cloud, I'm not going to put this layoff against her, however. Okay. I'm just going to put my faith in Justin Nixon, who's very underrated, knows what he's doing. Sheila's War Cloud, I think, is going to set up shop in a similar trip, either tracking Kissed by an Angel. If Binny shows more speed, tracking 3 wide. She's the horse to beat based on what we saw 2 starts back and the race last time out in the Maryland Million. I'm not sure I want to take too short of a price. She's 8-5 on the morning line, but she's a very logical contender.
Looking at your prices, the 2-horse Lucky Cougar at 15-1 on the morning line.
Just don't think this horse cared for the muddy track last time out at Mahoning Valley. Jason DaCosta will ship into the Mid-Atlantic region, usually at parks, and run some live horses. I thought this horse did some good things at Delaware, 3 starts back over a muddy track. In the Maryland Million Lassie, sort of ran on at the very end of that race. It was almost as if this horse runs in spots. Maybe she's getting a little more professional for her 5th try.
And in that big field, I mean, only a couple of races under her belt, a 13-horse field that day in the Maryland Million Lassie. I give her the comment trying. She's caught my eye late, had to work through probably a little adversity down inside in that big field. Binny, we'd be remiss if we don't talk about Binny, the fool to crab cakes.
The key to the race. Because Binny is the horse that you could make the argue has the biggest future. She won her debut not like many 2-year-old first-time starters. Usually they're speed crazy. They go right to the lead. Binny rallied from last to win. The speed figure came back light. These 2-year-olds can improve leaps and bounds from start to start. Don't put too much stock in 2-year-old speed figures. I think Binny's going to be a lot more forwardly placed if she breaks. There isn't a ton of speed in this race. Maybe she'll even outright make the lead. 7-2 is a fair price for a Brittany and Sheldon Russell production with plenty of upside.
Yeah, she handled the adversity. She got trouble out of the gate. She steadied a little bit that opening 1/8 of a mile. Sheldon was very confident, very patient. He really kind of didn't ask her until he worked her outside to about the 5-path top of the stretch. And when he got her in the clear, she rolled home. Extra furlong should not be, or a little more than that, 3/16 of a mile, shouldn't be an issue. Let's get to the 8th run, a little short on time, but you know what? It's a good card. We're talking gambling, we're talking betting. This is what it's all about. I love it. Maryland Juvenile, registered Maryland breds, Maryland sired. The boys 7/8 of a mile. Scratch the 7, jumping a Jagger Flash, and the 10 all the way. Speediness, kind of all eyes. The blinkers have gone on. We'll just start with this one as well, with the video from the 17th of November.
Listen, Speediness rebounded from a tiring effort in the Maryland Million Nursery to just air in 2 consecutive starts. This is a 1-turn mile, and this horse just got loose on the lead, was able to back down the fractions, and J-Rod is just a statue here for the most part of this stretch run. So easy did Speediness win this race. She asks her right there, and then she goes on to win as much the best. Nest 4 for the last 10, 40%, 389. Last out winners moving from route to sprint. I'm a little concerned that the pace is going to be quicker this time around as she turns back in distance. She's going to be bet off of that last performance, and she should be.
Yeah, going to be a shorter price. So we're looking for a little bit more value in here. I'll let you talk about the 1 Kings River for Linda Albert and Forest Boys.
Kings River dead heated for 3rd in her most recent start. That was the race chasing Speediness, the race we just saw. She was on a hard chase that day. I think she needs other horses to do the dirty work, come from 1 run from the back as she did 2 starts back when she ran a good 2nd to Speediness. I hope that situation is able to work itself out. Linda Albert, 4 for the last 13, 389 ROI, route, dirt sprint.
We kind of see the 1 and the 2. I see very similar. Capcom, I thought, ran very well. Blinkers went on, and just like how you talked about, these numbers can kind of go all over the map in big jumps. The Blinkers won a big jump from previous dirt buyers for Capcom. I think this one will bring a finish today. I go outside. Now I'm going to draw the outermost post. Hit the road, Jack. for Rudy Sanchez Solomon at a big number, 30-1. I think will come down. I saw this movie a couple years ago with Shake 'em Loose, claimed for 16.5, came right back 5 weeks later and won the Hef Stakes. This guy's been pretty game both starts. I think this horse is ready to take another jump. I think he will be forward, ready to go. Maybe Rudy's other horse, Mr. Agent, tries to put that pressure on speediness, and there to stalk is Hit the Road Jack. Just a shot at a big number.
Talked to Rudy for my race advance for Daily Racing Form. Liked the gameness that this horse showed in the debut. One of the reasons why he claimed him. He likes Hit the Road Jack in this spot as well.
Catahoula Moon, real quick. I know we're running it a little short. I just think he never got comfortable. He didn't get comfortable at all last time. No, little bit of fizzle, top of the lane home. Today, I think he can kind of get back to the way he won the Maryland Million.
Well, he was in against Copper Tax last time out, and you could argue that's the best 2-year-old in the Mid-Atlantic region right now. So he's getting class relief. We know he can beat speediness. He did so 2 starts back. When he got some pace, I think he's going to get some pace again. He's the logical closer.
I like it. Let's wrap it up here in the ninth. We'll roll through the ninth. Maiden 30s, 7/8 of a mile. The 2-year-old scratched the 3. Maddie 10. I know that was a horse that was intriguing you. And the 9, Next Girl.
Lady Charlotte, the number 5, Lacey Gaudette, tough trip last time out. Off slow, 3-4 wide backstretch turn, altered course down to the rail, rallied on late. Third finisher came back to win with a 49 buyer, has the fig edge.
Equibase, we just hired you for that trip, though. I love it. You're on the payroll now, but I agree with you. Lady Charlotte, I think, can kind of get to the front with a good break and keep on going here in the ninth. Renee's 6, so they like this horse, claim for 12.5, Kieran and Company. Up now, jumble jumps, I guess, up to 30. So, this is an interesting one coming in from Delaware.
Not sure I love the blinkers on angle. It's not something that Kieran's been doing recently very well, though the overall stats are good. But, again, you claim a first-time starter, a high-percentage barn like this. This one is eligible to improve. Maybe some more speed. Martino Rojas from the rail.
We're both going to use the 2 at first sight. That's going to wrap up the card. So we're going to rock and roll here real quick. Dan, hit me up with a best bet.
Really been impressed by Kiss by an Angel's last start. I think she's going to get close to the pace. I don't think she's going to be the favorite in this race. One shot with her.
Okay, I'm going to go with what's race was. Race 4, number 4, 44. 4's a wild. Perfect day for service. I'm not really concerned about the drop. Trouble and Last has been an in-and-out type of horse. I think will be on his game right into the race early and stays around. I think we can get something close to that 6-1 morning line. I'm hoping so with the 4. Perfect day value play of the day.
Kings Day, race number 8 in the Maryland. Kings River, race number 8 in the Maryland Juvenile. Again, 8-1 on the morning line. Think is going to get a better race flow than last time out. Want one late run.
Okay, and I go to a bomb in the same race. The 9, Hit the Road Jack, Rudy Sanchez Solomon. Talked about that move a couple years ago off the claim and got it done in the Hef Stakes. Why not? This horse has run very well. Both starts, gotten it done. I think this horse is going to improve today. 7/8 of a mile, be right up his alley. A stalk and pounce kind of trip at a good number. So, hey, Dan, any other final thoughts on today's card?
Looking forward to betting on today's card. Some exciting races. Little bit of everything, as we said early on. Hey, nice little winter carnival at Laurel Park.
Absolutely. Race 6. We're going to take a look at that one, too. The veterans race. We think it's going to be a good betting race number 6, but we've got 28 minutes up to Dave Rodman for some program changes and scratches.
Good luck.